Let's go.
Suprema, Suprema roll call. Suprema, Suprema roll call. Suprema, Suprema roll call. Suprema, Suprema roll call. Yeah.
It's time to jam.
Yeah.
Nasty girls.
Yeah.
Dance.
Roll call.
Suprema.
Suprema roll call. Suprema, Suprema roll call.
My name is Fonte.
Yeah.
I handle my biz.
Yeah.
My favorite horror movie.
Yeah.
The Wiz.
Roll call. Suprema roll call. Suprema, Suprema roll call.
My name is Sugar.
Yeah.
I love to dance.
Yeah.
I just need a choreographer.
Yeah.
To give me a chance.
Suprema, Suprema roll call. Suprema, Suprema roll call.
I'm unpaid bill.
Yeah.
I'd like to say,
Yeah.
can you feel it?
Yeah.
It's a brand new day.
Roll call. Yeah. Suprema, Suprema roll call. Suprema, Suprema roll call.
It's Laia.
Yeah.
Y'all know I'm hype.
Yeah.
George is here.
Yeah.
Wiz talk all night.
Roll call. Suprema, Suprema roll call. Suprema, Suprema roll call.
It's Faison.
Yeah.
And I'm here to say,
Yeah.
I got some news.
Yeah. Roll call. Suprema roll call. Suprema, Suprema roll call. Suprema, Suprema roll call. Suprema, Suprema roll call.
You get pissed when someone else's roll call is
Takes
funnier
your
than
word.
yours.
You basically
I
say
I thought mine was the funniest.
I think you did well.
All right.
Every time.
you guys were expecting me to.
Have a roll call?
Yeah.
Be
that
prepared
was
for your radio show.
Yes. No, I think I did fine.
Freestyle is freestyle.
Yeah.
A freestyle is a freestyle. Yes. This is Questlove Supreme, and we are in person. We aren't live, but we can pretend it's live. So we're in person in this very tight room.
Yeah.
It feels like Between Two Ferns. If anybody
thought so
knows that
too.
shit,
That's
it
what I
definitely
thought.
has a Between Two Ferns vibe to it.
Right. Yeah, we're in New York City right now. There's our logo, and I guess a 2014 version of me. I haven't looked like that in a minute. But no, we have Team Supreme, unpaid bill. I forgot what's your new name.
What is my new?
Brand new bill.
New bill,
No, you're
It was just Bill.
Just Bill.
you're just a
Just
bill.
Bill.
Natural bill.
Right. Maybe we should take a poll on our social media.
That's a good idea.
All right.
Yeah, because
I'll
I
take
feel
any
like
nickname I can get.
because right now your name is not that exciting on Instagram, or I think you want it that way. Do you want civilian?
Bill Sherman. Two.
I'm not sure.
B
if we
Sherman
do.
2.
Oh, excuse me.
B Sherman.
Just Bill.
Just
I
Bill.
like
Just Bill's fun. Thank you, Jordan.
Like showboat.
Oh, he took it there.
And you know who screams showboat? This guy. Absolutely.
Cause he's just my bill.
There you go.
Or I thought Marvelettes don't mess with milk.
Don't mess.
with
Okay,
it.
that's another one.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
All right, Sugar, how's it going?
Oh, it's good, man. It's good.
I like this couch arrangement.
Yeah,
I was
yeah, it
feels
unsure,
good.
I
Amir.
feel
I was
like
like,
I'm-
is this? It was very
Lifelong
2024.
Yeah, we got time, we got space. You know,
It's like men can sit together like this. This
Yeah.
is nice.
Yeah,
we all got. We can man spread. You know,
Yeah.
we got space. We good.
I
How's
got
it
my-
going, pal?
I got my brothers and sisters with me, you know. I feel
Oh, yes, we're family.
Yes, we
I
are.
got where you were going with that. Fontigolo,
I'm cool, man.
Welcome to
Cool,
New York.
Man. Yeah, man.
what's going on now? Like now that the documentary is complete and you guys are musically sort of churning them out, or at least I assume that you're churning more out. I
Yeah.
hope that you're churning more out. What's the plans for the summer?
For the summer, so we are. Melo watch the Little Brother story. It's out now on YouTube. Check it out. And just working. More music is coming on the FE side. I'm producing, arranging, doing stuff from Sesame Street. I follow the example.
Yes.
you know?
Diversify.
Yeah, diversify.
Well, shit, I'm trying to get out of it. So
Well, I ain't going as hard as you going, so
Right.
I'm, you know.
That's like Ahmir, like stage 15 gentrification. Like he been there, done that, and now it's back to the hood again.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
trapped. I'm coming back home.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, I'm good. I'm trying not to just quote the Wiz all day.
I- yeah,
I wouldn't
I
be called
feel
dead
like-
and red. I wouldn't be seen mean and
You
green.
see
I don't know.
green.
I feel like more than anything, this is the episode you've been hoping, wishing, praying, and dying for. Our guest today helped introduce a postmodern generation to a level of class through movement and choreography, sort of in that tradition of his peers, be it Charlie Atkins, Jeffrey Holder, Harold Nichols, Michael Peters. There's Lester Wilson. I might be forgetting a name or two. Frankie Manning, Debbie Allen. We can't forget Debbie Allen was, and Fatima Robinson, even modern.
Alvin Ailey.
Yes,
yeah.
Alvin
No,
Ailey,
they
of
only
course.
started all that.
Yes,
You
exactly.
know what I mean? In a sense, we
Oh,
were
he didn't say your
taken.
name yet, but the people don't know.
More than that, like our guest is Emmy Award winning choreographer. By
Tony.
the way,
Tony Award.
oh, I'm sorry, Tony. But wait,
First person.
were you nominated for?
No,
Josephine?
I won it.
For the Emmy, for you nominated.
And nominated for Josephine Baker.
For okay, Josephine.
Okay.
By the way, Lynn and Gracie give their regards to you. Lynn Whitfield and
Oh, wow.
Grace was like, tell
been here too?
Uncle.
They
No, no,
haven't
no,
yet,
I-
but that's a good suggestion because they need. Yes.
Yes.
It's on the list.
They're friends of the show,
Yeah.
and they're excited you're doing this as well. They gave their regards. But more than that, our guest today, I got excited, of course, because of his association with The Wiz, which, of course, getting a new lease on Broadway with Amber Ruffin's production of it, and a friend of the show, Wayne Brady as The Wiz.
Yeah.
is
Shout out
coming
to
back.
Candy Burrs.
And as Fonte has said, yeah, The Wiz was a horror movie.
Yeah, man. Listen.
The Wiz is a horror movie.
Yeah, that
A me-
scared the death out of me. I was a
a
kid.
metaphysical horror movie.
Yeah.
You know,
Interesting.
When Evelyn with her nails rolled back, I was like, oh
even
my
now,
God.
yeah, even now,
the
I
monkeys are
can't
hard to
think-
look at. The monkeys are
Yeah.
hard. Yeah.
The subway scene.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God. Yeah.
The idea of theatrics in concerts, especially when it comes to the work of Earth, Wind, and Fire, our guest today helped sort of facilitate a vision that turned that group from just an 11-piece soul review into this modern theatrical presentation. And we've been dying to pick your brain for a long time, and I'm glad you're here. Welcome, George Faison to Questlove
Ew.
Supreme.
Wow.
Yes.
DC in the house.
Yes.
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 So can you tell me about you grew up in D.C.?
Yeah.
What your formative years in D.C., what was that like? Like, what's your home
DC
situation?
at that time was a divided city. There was the racism, and but we had a life. We had the Howard Theater, where our universe surrounded, and for a lot of cities, you have your black theater. The Howard Theater, we had a lot of R&B, starting with Roy Hamilton, and on and on and on. Gladys Knight, Jukebox Review, Laverne Baker, Etta James, you name it, they were. This is not the sophistication that you would see at Motown. We were still growing, but at least we were out there. We could see the people and they brought us another kind of glamour. And it is the magic of our people that makes us do that, and that propels you through that. So if you're growing up with without people knowing who you are, you get tired of the labels and the stereotypes, and you get busy with what can I do about that? And education and letting them know who you are. Because we love these people. You know, our mamas and daddies, biscuits and so forth. And I grew up, my father was in the awning business. And he put up ladders. I don't know, it's a metaphor for something in a sense.
Like awnings.
Like awnings on the side of buildings. So I had to learn his business. You know, so I can go up 2 or 3 stories on a ladder that you push up. Okay?
Okay.
So I learned that. My father taught me that, but it was his business.
Okay.
And I thank God that I had a father. I had a father as long as I lived in D.C. until I left his house. So, and you have the discipline and all of that, and you go to school and you learn things and so forth. And then we had TV, early TV, probably one of the first families to have the TV on the block, and we saw all of these things. And
Okay, so me being born in the 70s, and especially like the year I was born, like most people or historians will say like 68 is the Mason-Dixon line of pre-civil rights and post-civil rights period. So I came of age in which if you even had anything close to a passion for the arts, there were institutions that you could go to. Like there was a school in which you can come teach your kids ballet or tap dance or acting or that sort of thing. For you though, what was the environment like? Like was art something that we took seriously, or survival? Get a job, get money, or pursue your dream?
well, what I chose, nobody at that particular time thought that was going to be the way. You were going to be a doctor, a teacher, or something. You were going to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, survival. You have to have a little happiness. You have to have a little joy to survive, to have something that you're going to be reaching for. So you look left or right on your graduation day in 1964. What, are you never going to see these people again? And what are you going to do? That day that you even walk out of the school or down those streets, you walk down those streets as somebody else, like an adult. What are you going to do? You're going to go to college? Can you afford college? What, you got to break those barriers too. Well, at 15, I had started going to Howard University, not going in school, but in their departments that were like developing. There was no dance department, so Mary Rose Allen started the dance department in the gym. You know what I mean? And I would go every day at 3 o'clock or something and change my clothes and go down there and meet Carolyn Tate, who you don't know about, but she had worked with choreographer Donnie McHale, who I would later meet when I came to New York. Owen Dotson was the head of the drama department, and he brought James Baldwin and myself Blues for Mr. Charlie at Howard University when he was still working on that. I saw in 1964.
You saw a preview, a Baldwin preview?
Yeah, they were friends.
Wow.
They were friends. No, but everybody. I mean, Roberta Flack was there. Donny Hathaway. The Toni Morrison was in that bunch. Right.
This is the education renaissance.
Yeah, listen.
So it's like all of the. Who else was there? There
But
was
you're
so
young.
many.
You said you're 15.
I was 15.
You're 15. Why did you even
Jesse
know to?
Norm-
Why did you not even know to go to
At
Howard?
that particular time when we were trying to get educated, that you went on school trips. So we went to Howard University.
From Dunbar,
Right,
so-
not just the fire house.
Right. So
or
the
police
Dunbar,
station.
because his high school that he went to was close to Howard anyway.
Well,
so.
Dunbar was the first African American high school in the
engineering.
US.
Yeah.
Right, in M Street High, and everybody went there. Charles Drew also who created the plasma, was a graduate of that. But right, all of that.
But you were dancing back then, so you were dancing.
Well, let me.
I know we were No, you were dancing at home. What are you talking
true.
about?
That's
You
true.
know,
Right.
you had 45s and all of that. They played Pekina cards, drank, and we had a life, right?
Right.
But
Okay, we did have a life. That's what I'm saying.
What I want to know is
They
like,
cooked. They did everything. It was the migration. I saw people that were living in the alleys, in garages. You understand what I mean? Because they didn't have a house, they didn't have anything. And they took that shelter and moved on all the way across the country. They until they found a place that they were going to settle in. That the Wilkerson book, Warmth
The
of
Warmth
Other Suns.
Yeah, Isabel
Right.
Wilkerson.
So
Yeah.
I love that book so much. I started, like when I came to the last 10 pages, I was turning a page a night
didn't wanna-
because I
Yeah, didn't
did
want it to
not
end.
want it to end.
Damn.
What's it
Because
called?
What's it again?
It's called
Warmth-
The Warmth of Other Suns. It's
Suns.
about like the Great Migration.
Okay.
So yeah.
and how people, they picked up and they moved. That's how I guess my father, my mother, their families, and so forth got to D.C.
Carolina.
Where did they
North
migrate
Carolina.
from?
Wow.
Yeah.
You're right, North Carolina.
Yes, sir.
DC
That's
all
home.
day.
That's
Everybody's
home.
from
Right,
DC.
right. And
Yeah.
then they went on to other cities.
What city in North Carolina? What part?
Well, Wallace. My
oh
father.
wow.
You know that?
Yeah.
Yes,
Wallace
that's-
is going this headed towards Wilmington from me. I'm in Raleigh, so it's like going back. East.
Right,
I know
right.
Wallace. Yeah.
And there's a Faison,
There is
North
a Faison,
Carolina.
North Carolina. Yep.
right. There's all of that. And then that's our past. So it's like you find yourself in an environment when you grow up. What am I going to do? Okay, you see the white folks on one side of town, and you go back to wherever you're going. Everything is full. I mean, you're not missing anything.
Yeah.
I'm not missing anything, but you see, you're drawn to art. Art draws art. It doesn't claim just one person. I mean, it's open, it's universal, and you can go and grow through all. And I was just curious, so I would wander to the other side of town. I would read the papers, auditions, and so forth. But I didn't. Let me not get too far ahead. But Howard was Mecca.
Yes.
So let me-
Still
well,
is.
Everybody was there, so I didn't miss that. But the caveat in our growing up to be whoever we're going to be, we were intersegregated
Within black people.
within black
Yes.
people. So if you didn't pass the paper bag test,
Oh,
Jack and Jill.
Jack and Jill.
no, this is what Jack and Jill's went up the hill, but this was harder.
Oh shit.
Damn. Let's drop a bomb for that.
Right, and you didn't.
What was the seed that was planted for dancing? Because I'm certain that.
Oh no, I didn't start with dancing.
What did you start with?
I know. I started with music and art and all of that.
Okay.
Pictures and things. The stars that I really love were Fred Astaire and Gene Kelly and all of that. Yeah. Nothing really happened till I saw Norma Miller and Frankie Manning in Hells a Popping, doing that crazy Lindy that they were
Lindy
doing.
Hop, yeah.
And so forth. But I didn't meet all of them until I came after I had been in New York, and we were but Mama Lou Parks and all of that dance history. I was there making up dances, not even thinking, trying to turn in. The hall was like 36 inches wide that you
That's
walk
long.
down.
Wow.
Right, and I taught myself how to pirouette in the hall. So you
Don't hit the walls.
Don't hit the what? Thank you. Don't hit the walls. How straight can you be? So that was, and I was learning like that. And then somebody came up and said, "Oh, there's going to be an audition." What is an audition? They say you have to do this audition, go sing and dance and act, and you get into a play. So I said, okay. I was going. This guy was a senior and everything, so I trusted that. And I went through the whole audition, and I hadn't ever been. And so I come bouncing out. We got a job. We got a job. And so we're gonna start rehearsal on so and so. I'm telling him all the business. He says, I didn't get it.
Oh wow. Sorry.
But that is the beginning. That was the beginning and end of that friendship.
Oh wow.
So you're gonna go alone, folks. You can take as big a crowd as you want. It's just gonna be on you.
That was your first audition?
What was
That
the,
was my first audition.
so what was the audition process like?
The
Back
proc-
then, what was the process?
Well, they gave us steps, and you had to do them. Boom. You had to go up the scale. If you couldn't sing, you sang "Happy Birthday," and if you read a little bit, oh, they're not gonna get a speaking part. So, so maybe-
Okay, so when you
Same thing?
So when you go to an audition, now when I watch movies or whatever, and the arts are never accurate when showing it how it really is. But
that-
for the dancing part of it, when I see like when they do 5, 6, 7, you're going to rush and they pick it up instantly.
Wait a minute, they weren't moving like that.
Well, no,
No,
but
they weren't moving like. Wait a minute, let's go back. Okay. They were not moving like that. You add the spice. A pot de bourrée is still a pot de bourrée unless you turn it into something. A pirouette is a pirouette unless you can turn it into something. I didn't have any training until I heard some guys talking about glissade, pas de bourrée,
Yeah, how did you
jeté,
even
and
hear?
that. No, but that's movement, and you have to learn that language. And I was like, I got to get that. I didn't even know what arabesque. But I got that
plie?
job.
Plie?
I had not heard of, and so forth. So, but I would
So
do it
how
all.
you-
I would do it. You look and you do. Your IQ is how good a IQ.
so you're like a
EYE.
musician that plays by ear.
Yes.
From those that did train at the blah 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 institute, are they looking down on you? Are they?
Well, you have to conform to all that because that's what it is. It's just like a musician playing notes, and all of that. And I had played the French horn and the trumpet in while you grow up, and that's what we had in school to do. So I was trying that, sang in the glee club, did all of the things that I really liked. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And you remember I was hanging awnings with my father and hanging out the third floor window, putting them on the mansions that were out in Silver Spring and Spring Valley and all of those other neighborhoods, and ducking down in the seat if I was riding through the neighborhood because I
Wrong
didn't
part of
know
town?
I didn't want anybody to see me with my father with the ladders, hooked up to the thing, and I was doing.
It's very DC.
But it was work, and it was his work.
What did your mother do? You mentioned your father.
No,
What
she
did
was
do?
home with us.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So and raised us.
So y'all was
And
a
the
very
din-
middle class family.
in a sense.
Yeah.
Yes. I
Yes.
think if you would take it like that, and we had dinner every day together.
Wow, that's real.
Every day. So
Required.
yes. No, it ain't no required. You just habit.
Muscle memory.
Habit. or no, and then everything. I mean, you really got an education that all of the bad things you did, all the good things, what are you out there? What are you doing over there with those white folks? And all of that. Anyway, I got that part.
What's the part? Oh yeah, Bill asked that. What was the part?
I became the lead dancer for Kiss Me Kate.
Wow.
And guess where we did it? We did it at Howard University at the newly built Crampton
In
Auditorium.
Okay.
That had
Wow,
and
the
then we
new
walked
Crampton.
the new
I graduated in that building.
sparkling,
Wow.
magical.
Yes.
And but in your dreams you have every part. The dreams aren't segregated in a sense. You dance through this, you feel that, and so forth. I mean, it's just real life. Mm-hmm. And then that you have to deal with and how you interpret that and how you take that and how do you survive that?
What?
To be able to go on and have a career. I have not done anything but do my work with my father and been in the theater. Nothing.
Okay.
And who can say that at that time? All right.
Ahmir, his life was the same. He has not. He's
All
only
the
done-
way through. I had a
Beautiful.
theater job, so I became the first dancer and led this. I'm like one of two maybe people in no, there are three black characters: Queenie, Joe, and me. I was a dancer. Wow. And I led the dancers out there. I didn't know anybody at Howard, so I met all those guys, the Howard players.
Still
the
don't know what a
cutthroat-
plie is. I'm
the
tripping.
cutthroat best players in the world. They went and majored in bid whist and so and shit like that. So it's
Bid
like,
whist.
oh no, they were wild,
Yeah.
wild, and they were going to school and so forth. But let me tell you, getting through that level of discrimination among your own people was a part of that. You know what I mean? That was a part of that because so my mother was very light skinned and my father was black. You know what I mean? So it's like here
we
we
just had
are.
this conversation.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And so here we are, and they raised us best they could, you know, as well as they did. Not best they could, as well as they did.
Yeah.
Christmas and Easter, and you did all of the traditional things. You got new clothes, and you went to church and so forth.
Very middle
and
class.
so I stepped out there.
You were at Howard when you got that role? I'm sorry,
no,
go
I
ahead,
was
Ahmir.
still in high school.
Okay. Oh.
So it was, you know, I did all of this before I was like in the 10th grade when I got that
Kiss Me
job.
Kate? Wow,
with
that was
the
10th grade.
at
Howard,
Howard
at
University.
the Crampton?
Right, I met Jessie Norman. She was 15 too.
You met Jesse Norton.
Right, but I had never heard a voice like that.
Who
Oh, no,
has?
we went on a trip to this. It was scary. She opened her mouth, and we had never heard a sound like that come from anybody. Anybody. And then, you know, all of the other people, Roberta Flack on Capitol Hill, you know, singing at Mr. Henry's and doing all of that.
I'm just tripping as you were still in high school when all this was happening, and you're
Right.
still at Howard. Yeah.
Right, and I went there. They allowed me to go there and so forth, and you know, work with Ted Shine. I did Zoo Story with him. You know, the
So
plays and things like that.
What was the first institution was Howard the first institution that let you study your craft? And like, at what point are you choosing dance and movement as your?
I think it kind of all kind of meld together. I mean, I was kind of looking at dance. I was still 15. I hadn't graduated.
Right.
So it was like I still had to go, you know, through
But at
the
what
10th,
point? That's what
11th.
we're saying. So, like, at Howard, did you say I'm going to be a
No,
dancer?
I wandered to Howard.
Yeah.
But I'd never been into the dance department, into the fine arts department. I was over there with Mary Rose Allen in the gym.
But you ended up attending
learning-
Howard, right?
Yes.
So what was your major then?
That was drama.
Oh, so no dance still. So I'm at you at Howard. No dance.
No dance, but I'm dancing.
But you're dancing, but not okay.
Right.
But when you
so-
graduate, then you
right.
graduate.
And then Lewis Johnson, another choreographer from that era, who had he's the only black dancer in that Damn Yankees movie. If you look at Damn Yankees with way back in the day,
Must be fast.
the movie.
Yeah.
No, you can see you can
see him?
can see him.
Okay.
You know, but he was that. But he grew up in Washington at the Jones and Haywood School, and that was where Cheetah Rivera came out of. Sylvester Campbell, who danced in Europe, he was able to dance the Prince in Swan Lake and all of that in Europe, and they trained those kind of dancers. I did not go to that school.
Where would you say the epicenter of the greats were? Is this because
There was no-
to hear you say it, everyone.
It's no Kennedy Center. There is no
There's no
any of that. Wow. And then that I opened Kennedy Center with a couple pieces, but that was when I was, you know, older. I've done workshops there. I've done, just everywhere.
Right.
You know, everywhere.
back then, that wasn't
right.
there.
But you could read in the paper where there were certain auditions you had to go to, and you had to go to, you know, out of our sphere. The people that were going to those houses were maids and cooks and so forth. They were working in that neighborhood. But I'm saying that whatever institution, I did liturgical dance with Mary Craighill, who was at the Johnson where Johnson worshipped. So I started, I've danced for all of that. So
That's
on
DC
Sun-
still? That's DC?
That's still DC. And I worked at and my summer jobs were the Library of Congress, NIH, and all of, and all of that
NIH,
working.
right.
Right. And I didn't want to, you don't want to work. But Lewis Johnson came to Howard. He put something on. We did one of the musicals. And I asked him to call me if there are any auditions, because I wanted to be out of
in
there.
New York.
In New York.
So that's how
if
he
someone's
went
putting
through
a
it.
production on, is it just assumed that all the students at Howard are seasoned enough to do that? Like, and I'm thinking of production, lights,
No.
pacing, staging.
But Howard and the fine arts department was advanced to that point. They had great teachers, and you could get a real full, well-rounded, theater experience going to Howard. Because later on, there were Debbie and Felicia.
That's right, Debbie
all of
went there
them,
too, yeah.
all of them will have passed through those doors, and the teachers
Their period is
progressed.
the
But
70s.
they made costumes. They did. The first production I saw there was Medea in Africa. So it had that African flavor, but here it was still Medea, and the legend and all of that. And so you got a feeling, and the kids and the actors were studied that and strived for that. The rigor was really hard. How you still have to be the best. And if you're stupid or fool enough like me, so when I went to New York, I auditioned, for Arthur Mitchell, and they were going to go to Africa for the Festival of Two Worlds in Senegal, and I was like stoked. I made that audition. I got into that company, but the first day of rehearsal, I saw Paula Kelly. I saw, no, I'm chilled. I get chills right now. I saw Paula Kelly. Beyond the dancers I saw in Alvin's company down there, who were excellent. I saw Judith Jameson down there, Miguel Gaudreau, Takako Asakawa, and dancing works by Tally Beatty, and all of that's what really inspired me to want to go. So I get the job. So it's like I see all of these guys. Then you got Tommy Johnson. They did a nightclub act dancing along with Sandy McPherson and another.
Dang, New York got such a beautiful dance scene back then. Like that's just it's.
And
always names.
sexy and all of that.
Sexy.
No, but she danced. Paula Kelly danced at MoMA with Gene Kelly and some other dancers, and we would watch so intensely. The choreographers were on TV doing specials with Duke Ellington and so forth, and they were absolutely the best. Claude Thompson, Jaime Rogers, who had been in West Side Story, and all of that. And you had to fight to be on the front line. They give, you lines, line, so sometimes you be hiding because that shit was so difficult. And then.
But wait, when you're talking about,
that was
specific with fighting on the front line, what do you mean? Like in
trying
terms
to
of,
get to the front line, trying to be in the first chair, trying to be first trumpet.
Yeah.
As a dancer.
So how does one achieve that?
Yeah.
You hone all of your stuff. So when I got I see all these stallions and thoroughbreds walk into the room. I'm like, we haven't even started dancing. I'm looking at these human beings that are poised, ready, and had danced all of the stuff of Catherine Dunham had danced, Tally Beatty had danced, Donnie McHale, and
they were seasoned.
the whole, all of that work. So I'm looking at these gods and goddesses, like that. So I know which leg is the best, so I go to
Get on the good foot, for real.
Right, I put my head right, so I'm on the other side of the bar. So when they're looking, so if I stand with the bar, my left hand on the bar, they're looking at my right leg. My right leg is a bit. I can do everything with that right leg and that other hand. So when we turn around, I'm learning to do all of this. Remember, I didn't do all of that.
No
schooling.
class.
Yeah.
You have to jump on it. There's no playing. If you can't do it, improvise. Just like.
Wait, time out. So you're telling me in your first 2 decades,
10 years.
you've
From the
not
time I
went to, there was not an Ailey sort of institution or.
No, he was struggling. Everybody didn't love it. We got thrown out of restaurants and denied that. We were a black dance company. I was on the road when they killed King, and we still had to dance, and we did Revelations or any of those pieces.
But I mean, for as far as training is concerned.
Training, on the job training, if you're lucky. And I took it, that's the rigor. Can you do it? Your body is rebelling because you're trying to stand in fifth and fourth and pirouette, and you're trying to do all of that clearly and cleanly because you're judged by that every time you step.
At these auditions, is it like Michael Peters there, and are they your?
Peters, thank you for putting me with Michael Peters. Michael Peters.
He's younger. He's older. He's older.
He's younger than.
Get out.
What? You are looking
Because you're
at,
younger than all the other ones, so it's weird, right? Because you're younger.
I was born right in the middle of all of it.
So like Judith Jameson.
So I'm 40. Is 80.
Okay, so she's older than you.
Yes.
Okay.
All of them are older than me.
Okay. Okay.
So they were all older. Debbie Allen, Michael Peters, and all of them came later.
They're babies.
She was in. They were
Okay.
babies. They was in my company. I gave Felicia the job of being a munchkin in The Wiz. And
She was a munchkin, Felicia?
She was Felicia Rashad.
Yeah.
Two-time Tony Award-winning actress. Okay, that's where she started. She was a munchkin, and she did it. Okay,
I know. Okay.
you know, but there are many circumstances.
Were you at any point? Are you looking at the major institutions? Like, are you even looking at
No.
like auditioning for white ballet companies or
No.
Are they even looking at us?
No, Alvin Ailey was my goal. That was the hardest dancing you could possibly do.
Okay.
What? It was that was the top.
How
and
long
for
had
me,
Alvin Ailey been doing his thing?
60.
Okay, because I'm trying to put everybody's
Is
age
it 60
together.
years now? 80?
But when you get to New York, Alvin Ailey Company Alvin Ailey is
right.
doing
This
what?
is the first 10 years.
Okay.
That's the first 10 years. From graduating from high school to 1975 is 10 years. I won the Tony then.
Wow.
Going through it like that. But my first job, Broadway show, was Don't Bother Me, I Can't Cope.
What? What is that even about? I don't.
Don't Bother Me, I Can't Cope. That's Vanette Carroll and Mickey Grant and
Yeah,
the
Mickey Grant's in
Bradford
that.
and the Bradford Singers and all of that. I hadn't read those reviews until maybe a couple years ago.
Oh, man.
Right. And I
Well,
wish
wait,
I had an
you
agent.
were in Pearly before that.
Oh,
right?
and I was when I graduated when I left Ailey in 70. I opened on Broadway
And this is
with,
the one that
with
Melba
Pearl
Moore won the Tony for.
and Cleavon Little as well.
Oh,
Okay.
man. Yeah, he was
So and
how
Louis
did you
Johnson.
how did you get that? How did you get that audition? And
Well, Louis, you know, this frustration of trying to be a leader and guide people and so forth, you know, kind of came to a head when we were working with Hugh Masekela with Masekela Langage with Alvin Ailey. That was a piece that Alvin did. It's the piece I left on. I left in 69 and 70. I opened with Pearly, but that was my last season. And I danced like Stephen Biko role. But I had read about all of this. You know, news is going around. Where are you getting your inspiration from? The people. You know what I mean? So it's, you know, when they say, oh, I'm going to remake The Wiz, then remake it. Don't fuck around with it. remake it. You know what I mean? Don't play. You are different people. You are living in this century, in this decade. This is your time. Yeah. And then, and that was what, I'm sitting up here. I'm wondering how old is everybody in this room?
Oh, all right, we can do that.
We can do that.
All right, I'm 53.
I'm 43.
54.
God damn, I'm 10 years older than you.
I'm 45.
40. Oh, me too. 46. 46.
Minus 20.
I am 78.
Okay.
You are.
Trombones at the top.
Wow.
Okay, so it's like all of that. So I've lived this life in real time. So all of the changes. I saw all of them get shot and murdered because I live right there in D.C.
Right.
And that was in a row. D.C. was something.
But wait,
this is Margaret Mitchell. And I'm saying this is the background. I'm growing up in that, trying to go to Howard.
Right.
They're drafting people for the Vietnam War. The people,
It was a time.
It was a time.
That's
all
why
of that.
it's funny to hear. I had George on the phone with my dad earlier, and they called their generation like the last of the new children, right? The last of this.
We thought we were the new.
Yeah, they thought they were the last of this
all
creative
that.
generation.
Because I was 70, you were 70. That was Sly and the Family Stone, all of that. No, there was the Beatles. There was all of that.
So when Ahmir
I'm
asked
talking
you
about the Beatles in 60 what? We went, Europe and living.
So when Ahmir asked you about finding out about different gigs and all that, it's like in the Melbourne more of all the things. Like y'all were a community, right? Like,
Yeah.
So is that also how y'all?
No, but
y'all
that was
shared that
only-
information?
No,
or?
yeah, you shared that info. That was just one thing. That wasn't like Feed a Nation. That was just one thing. And if you were in that, you were lucky
far as
to be part of that.
Okay.
How cutthroat was it in terms of?
Oh no, I got that Laura Bacall gig.
Yeah.
Because
Because
somebody was late. Woo. And they cast me in, and these are the people that had done Mary Poppins.
Oh.
Dee Dee Wood, Mark Brow, and Dee Dee Wood did the choreography for Mary Poppins, and along with Louis Johnson, we did Trip the Light Fantastic with Lauren Bacall and
Michael Landon?
Sister Bertrill.
Oh no, you talking about a long time ago
Sally
before
Field?
that.
The Flying Nun?
Sally Field?
Sally Field
Yes.
and
Not Michael Landon.
No.
From that same show with
yes,
Sally Field? Oh, that wasn't. I watched that in
It's like an
reruns.
Ahmir interview. I know. And I get to watch it.
But yeah, that person right there.
That I came up through all of that, survived all of that, and was blessed with having a show like The Wiz come along, and we won, those 7 Tonys and all of that and so forth.
I love
But
the way you
all
just
of
wrapped that up. Yeah, we won them 7 Tonys.
You got to be on time. You got to be at the top of your game.
Oh, the cutthroat.
Yes, and because somebody wants that gig more than you.
Yeah.
So you got to be.
Who were your contemporaries around this time? Like who else?
I was young. I didn't.
No, but not you. Like who else of note was in your circle as far as like legendary dancers that we might have heard of?
The New Children.
The last of the New Children.
Elio Palmari. But Elio was a choreographer.
Okay.
Great choreographer too. When all those people I was trailing the Ailey Company. See, I was born in between. There was nothing behind me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? There was nothing behind me. So I had to keep moving forward. So that's how, and then I would be leading people. They weren't going, where were they going? I scooped up Debbie Allen.
Yes, he scooped up
and
Michael
all
Peters
of them,
and-
Michael Peters and all. He was my roommate with Ailey.
What did you say about Michael Peters? You told Michael Peters to get a job. Oh, never mind. That was a whole-
No. Michael Peters' mother is Jewish, and Michael was, denying, that he was Jewish as well. I told Michael, you want a job? Go to the synagogue.
I didn't even.
That's how I've lived my life.
Mic drop.
The entire time.
I didn't even know Michael Peters was half Jewish. I was
I
like,
didn't know that
word.
either.
Right, but how would you know?
I don't.
Right.
I met him once.
I see it. Okay.
Right.
I see it.
Yeah. Yes.
George, what was the transition? What was the transition like to being a choreographer? Because as my
Yeah.
experience, the dancer and the choreographer are very different people.
Yes, they are. I could tell. Again, I marched with Dick Gregory. I had done all of this and going to a black school and being steeped in all of this, watching the civil rights movement, unfold in real time on the TV. Like Bloody Sunday was on we saw that happen. The dogs, the things in real time.
So how did that
So that
just into
no,
the-
and before that, the buses that were burnt with
Birmingham, not Birmingham.
the Freedom buses.
Freedom had the three
what's
guys
his name?
Cheney, Andrew Cheney.
No, that's toward the end. That's after the Birmingham.
Birmingham, okay, got it.
And
But
the
wait,
hot
so how does
summer.
that-
But I was trying to get back to the beginning.
Yeah, the choreographer thing. How does that work?
What was I going to tell you? What stories were I going to be able to relate to you about what I was going to give? It's not decorative dance that I did dramatic and things like that. And then romantic love. I did Sweet Otis, to all 5 of Otis Redding's songs, starting with One More Day, and I had the Widow dance first. So I saw them
that
pull.
was factored into your work.
Right, I saw them pull him up out of the water. Those pictures that we saw.
So how did that transition to a move? I'm so curious. Like in your mind, you see something like that. Like
Men and women.
How's it
Men and women through loving each other, falling out, but coming back together, and so forth. Romantic love. Romantic.
I never heard of it personally.
I know.
but
I heard of it. Heard of it.
Thank you. You need some romance. That's what it is. Anybody else want to testify?
It's hard to find these days. I think y'all had more of it back in those
Right.
days.
I started with One More Day, and I did Can't Turn You Loose, Lover's Prayer, which was a combative kind of thing, where she wants to dance, she doesn't want to dance, and so forth. And Satisfaction, the women, and then I've Been Loving You Too Long. Oh, no, I had them screaming.
Oh, it was all Otis Redding's music. Oh my God, the theme of Otis Redding and just
they would scream like they were remembering something. They did that. Oh no, I got her with that, and then I closed it out with Try a Little Tenderness.
Ooh, what does it?
So, is this your first foray into mixing your craft and your art into commercial music?
No,
In a way.
I just started like that. You were going to learn who I was. I was going to try to tell you who I was and where I came from.
Telling your story.
You're right. Telling a story of a lot of black artists that are trying to survive, and more than artists, but how we were, how we lived, and that's what I think we're getting away from. We're dancing, and it's decorative, and everybody wants to be a Beyonce background dancer. That's why we can't get anybody to be,
dancers like that.
you don't dance in sneakers.
You don't?
You
Not
sure?
dancer. That's what y'all are doing.
Yeah.
All of y'all.
What should we be dancing in?
No, but we had dance shoes. We had,
This is an interesting
because
debate.
we were also trying to develop the foot. You had to have that cultivated foot. That foot had to be turned out and not flagging all to the side. You had to pull that chest down, keep those hips tucked under. What are you talking about?
No,
We're talking about form.
You giving us
Form
reason.
and
Sometimes they
posture.
don't. They just say form, but they never say why. And so now I'm like, yes, okay,
Right.
formation.
And
I never
then
even.
you have to be straight, and in order to pirouette, and all of the centrifugal force has to be gathered up in there, so you can do 4 and 5 pirouettes, and then touch down and do a couple up in the air and land on one knee.
Woo!
And act like you didn't do anything. And I saw,
I can see it. I'm sorry. I can see it.
right, see it,
Yeah.
right. I saw at Uline Arena in D.C. It's torn down. Yeah, it was torn.
So you don't know that.
Yeah, I was like, that was before my time.
Urban renewal took care of that. In 1964, I saw Margot Fontaine and Rudolph, the freshly escaped from the Soviet Union, Rudolph Nureyev, dance with the Royal Ballet in Swan Lake and Sylphide, Les Sylphide.
Oh wow! So you were doing all your kind of research.
What year was this?
64. He said.
64.
Okay.
So I was still in high school. So I was out there. I was searching. You can do that, but the purpose. What am I doing this for? Understanding. Because we were separate. You know, people were separated, whether we could work together or not. But that was only half my life.
So what was your dream before 1975 comes and
All
your
of that.
30th comes? What was your end game? Your dream or your destination that you wanted to establish
I was being
yourself?
pushed. I started as a dancer, and then I started dancing between shows at Pearly, working out a few things. I had gone to Africa and to all of those countries with Ailey doing 67.
Right.
Was in Israel 6 days after the 6-Day War. All of that was happening. And we were teaching people.
I don't think they so you didn't look at it like that. You didn't look at in 20 years I want to do this. I want to be here.
No, but that was like 10 years after that.
How many years?
13 years. And then I left Ailey and...
How many years did you do Ailey?
3.
And
And
how
that started in 67.
for
66.
you would you say that's probably the most difficult, rigorous training that you've done?
No, it was before that. Because I didn't, when I first went, I did tell you that the Arthur Mitchell Company was disbanded because we didn't go. And since Alvin I went to meet Alvin, he was already in Europe. So the State Department decided to send him to Senegal because it was easier for them. And also, I was left on the street. I couldn't and didn't want to go back. You can't go back home, not to D.C., not to face those people, and not the Howard players.
Yeah.
Oh no, it'd be day and night of ridicule. I had already appeared in the Jet magazine with Lauren Bacall and the Afro and all of the papers. How could
You
my
can't go
mother
back
would
from
say,
that.
"Oh, the star is born." My son is a star.
Wow.
So I had all of that. So I couldn't go back to D.C. So you buckled down, and that's where the rigor really happened with them. All of those choreographers that were at the Y. That's Thelma Hill, Charles Moore, Jimmy Truitt, Pepsi Bethel, all of them.
What year did you first? You said that you went to Africa. What year did you
66.
first go to? Can you talk about the impact that going to Africa for the first time had on you?
I found out how small I was, how infinitesimally small we are, and nothing. And then there's a rhythm, and I discovered how it's circular. You don't know how long it is, but you begin to recognize when you jump into it.
And so did you bring all of that into your dance once you were finished with that trip?
My first ballet is in the Smithsonian, the Gazelle. Going down a hill, and they moved in like almost a chain kind of thing, and that's where I got the movement for the Gazelle.
Wow.
And so forth, and so that became the prelude to a ballet that I later did called Slaves. It was the hunters become the hunted. And so the Maasai were out hunting, and they captured the gazelle, and we took it back to the village, and so forth. And then you hear shots in the distance.
This is something I always wanted to know because, having dealt with choreographers in the 90s.
I know. I
in the
was hoping
2000s.
you would call me.
It's never too late. How are you able to thoroughly absorb the pieces that you have to choreograph if there isn't a Walkman or an iPhone or some sort of device that tells you what the music is? Because I know people that just listen to music and see, all right, where does it take me?
Take them. Where were you? See, I worked with Yusef Lateef and all of that.
Yeah, but his band's not set up in your living room playing live.
No, but we used to have radio, and that was WBLS and WLIB and all those jazz stations that played all of these artists that didn't get any kind of stage. And all of that music was epic enough for me to set the drama to it. You know, but we have to take the lead from what you're playing. The music is kind of first as far as that, and not what you were thinking of, but what universally is that. You give it a name. You've done something. You're a composer. Yeah. You start with the.
Were there cassettes out back then? Like, how are you able to listen back and forth, rewind, listen to that part? All right, when this change comes.
In some instances, you could buy it. We had Colony. We had all of those things where you were working with vinyl. See, I'm from that. I can get that music. All of those artists were on those labels. Most of the artists I worked with had that music. They weren't, Earth, Wind, Fire, we're not going to put fantasy on in the show.
What?
No, but that's choreographable. That is music. You not everything can you put a dance to. This is not TikTok. You know what I mean?
Right,
it's not
but
that.
I just want to know generally when someone asks you to put a piece together for them, what's your creative process in figuring out what it is that you want them to do?
It's what they said. I did Ashford Simpson. That's all romantic. They had mics with chords and stuff like that. So I had to choreograph the chord. I had to wrap them up in those loving embraces and unwrap them too. So you didn't notice that.
No, I know.
Right,
they're very theatrical when they
No,
perform.
but I'm saying no, and they're falling in their arms and they are groaning and doing all that stuff.
But what I'm saying is before you get to that place, I'm certain that you have to sit with the music and absorb it and listen.
Remember, I studied the French horn and the trumpet. I could count. I could read music too.
Okay.
So it's not, they don't even know what you're talking about. They dance right through the bridge, or they don't even recognize the bridge as some sort of release or anything like that. And then you're coming up to another chorus, and then they'll start their routine over again. But that's another level of what you're trying to express. And you learned it in that shorthand when you do those little rock and roll records. Like you got the intro, you got the first verse, second chorus, bridge, verse, bridge, and out. That's a form. That is technique.
How did all this experience and knowledge funnel into what you did with The Wiz?
I had everything. I went to different lands. That's a great question.
Thank you.
I went to, right, thank you. Thank you. No, you had Munchkin land. They had to be, you had Dancing Crows. I thought of Gladys Knight and the Pips.
Right.
Okay, now everybody breathe. Damn, I had to hook it on to something. Jesus. You understand what I mean?
I do.
But at the time when
that's why it lives today.
At the time when Charlie Smalls is approaching you about his redoing of The Wizard of Oz, are you thinking like you're crazy? This will never fly, or
no?
Yes,
you saw it immediately.
No, but I imagined myself in everything that I saw that you grew up with. Anybody grew up here. The Filipinos, the Chinese, anybody.
So this is what you saw when you saw The Wizard of Oz.
Yes, we loved Judy Garland was ours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know.
We didn't know no better. It was like, this is great.
Judy is in our family.
Yeah.
Right, and all those other scary monsters were out there. Scary monsters. You know what I mean?
Nah, I was good.
It was right. Isn't that America? Don't I own that?
Do you remember those?
Yes.
Do you remember those first creative moments of The Wiz like that? Like the impetus? Like
No. We were going through it together, and I changed it every night until it got right.
Shut up.
Wait, what?
George.
Oh no, they brought me. They tried to bring the dancers. They got mad. They had a meeting with me.
What?
You don't look good or you don't sound good. You fucked up that goddamn that solo that you were supposed to be, and you acting like, and you would, if you're being the boss of the conductor, you would call him on that. That wasn't right. Let's go back.
So who's in the room? Can you set the scene? Because I mean, I know
Nobody's in the room. Me and the dancers. This is in air. Where does the music come? It's in the air. Come on.
Okay.
It's not mundane.
So
did
you also have to did you have to also tell Charlie that when it came to some of the songs or
it didn't work?
Yes.
Yes, that's why I'm still collecting royalties.
Right, because you actually added to one of the songs on The Wiz, right?
No, he said he did what he thought was gonna pass for Emerald City. I said no. I can't. This sounds like a dirge. We're coming into sparkling Emerald City,
it's gotta be
so
vibrant,
it had to be
yeah.
ding 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 ding, and then a pop of fans and the ladies in chiffon and moving like that. Come on, we're in Emerald City.
Yeah, it's storytelling. Yeah,
It's storytelling. That's why they can't get by it.
And George, you were involved in the play and the movie? Diana Ross?
No.
Okay, so then can you tell people, because people don't realize too that like there was
stage-
differences between the stage and the movie.
They had no tornado. So I went upstairs. I took the petticoat that held out this Scarlett O'Hara ball gown and took that away. And then I cut the dress straight up to you know where. And I was on fire. Then they put on the stockings. And Jeffrey finished it off with the red stockings and stuff like that. Made it sexy and sexy. So she got up on the house, put a ladder, put the house on wheels. Because it had to disconnect. Yeah. And a ladder up the back of it, she could climb up and straddle the roof of the, what's the name? And y'all were having fun.
So wait, do you feel like, because most people have not seen the production that you put together in that way, right? The Stephanie Mills original production. So most people have seen the movie so do you feel like the choreography?
But that was mundane. That's not magic.
So you're saying, so it wasn't even influenced by you in that way.
We're going to roll down linoleum all night, yellow linoleum. What were we going to do?
Right.
No.
Right.
We had the guides. Those guys became the Yellow Brick Road. So I could dance all over the stage and they had to follow it. And the audience did it. We had those big yellow afros and the tails that were,
So how did y'all do the scene in the play? Like, for instance, it was so large in the movie when they went to Emerald City and, of course, the whole red, gold, green, gold, and red. That was a part of the play as well, right?
No.
That's what I'm trying to figure out, because I saw it as a very young girl. I was so little, so.
We did it again.
Well, you saw the 80 revival version,
I saw
right?
the Stephanie Mills
Right,
version.
well, she came back in 81, 82,
Yeah, that's when I
83.
probably saw it.
Right.
Right.
So
I saw the
You
77
didn't see
version.
red or green.
No, but
Yeah, they
I
didn't do
forget,
that.
so I'm trying to remember. That's
It
why
was all green. You were in Emerald City.
She
So
has
can I ask?
Wait, she has a Wiz tattoo on her shoulder and
No,
does
no,
not.
no,
Well,
no.
but that's for different reasons.
I'm
This
just
is
kidding.
silver.
Yeah, my Wiz tattoo is because Charlie wrote these songs, and these songs still translated
And
from
actually,
the play to the movie.
If remember in the much talked about but extremely defunct Quincy Jones episode, when he started introducing us to the Alpha 1 a.m. thing, he did mention that Sidney Lumet. Someone told Sidney, like, dude, you don't have a big dance number for Emerald City, and so they had to. That whole gold, red, yellow thing was a last minute addition to.
And you didn't have an Emerald City, and we were just in green. And it had to be fierce, and it had to be sparkling. And that's why, ding, 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 it's just magical. I can only gauge everything by applause. How loud the applause was. Not that hitting the note, just got to hit the note. But I'm talking about the dancing.
Yeah.
So are we basically hearing that there was a sort of battle of the control between him and Jeffrey in terms
Well, the
of...
producer didn't want to put all the power in one person's hands.
And I'm confused about Jeffrey Holder's role in that way, because Jeffrey Holder at the time, what was his role?
Jeffrey walked out on the first day of rehearsal.
Oh, wow.
Because he wasn't going to be the director.
Oh.
Nor the choreographer.
So he was just.
No, he did the costumes. We went out on the road.
Wait
a
the
minute.
Jeffrey Holder?
Yeah. Is there another one?
Oh, no, I just.
The cola nut.
Here's the thing. I knew of Jeffrey Holder as an actor because I saw Annie first.
Exactly. We got that.
And then my mom was like, "No, man, he was a choreographer." I was like,
No,
"Wait,
right, he
this guy
danced.
can dance. This big guy can dance."
Yes.
I did not know.
He was from Trinidad. He did Baron Sandy, you know, the island guy, half white, half black. You know, he was in,
Something out.
you know, the one of the 007.
Yeah, I was about to say a Bond movie. He was a Bond.
James
yeah.
Bond. He was a Bond character, but that was his acting side. Oh no, he did dance. He did great pieces like Douglas for the Dance Theater of Harlem and his own company.
Okay.
And he did Prodigal Prince, which was about the painter. And
So why
and I
is he
was in
doing
the chorus,
costumes?
and I was
Right.
So why he doing costumes and you doing choreography?
because the guy hired me after they saw Sweet Otis in the park in Delacorte. And they came up to me and asked me would I do this piece called The Wiz. And it was the black version of The Wizard of Oz and so forth and so on. And I said, when you get the money, call me.
That part.
And that part. And because I had a dance company, and I didn't know I was going to do that. I didn't know it was going to be, you know, but I put my best foot forward. I did the best that I could for the piece. I was serving the piece. It's not like that. What you say, you come in with they come in with a microphone. It takes more. You got to go to books. You got to do some research. You got to do all of that.
How was it teaching Stephanie to dance? You have that
No,
beautiful
Stephanie
picture.
could dance. She was a kid, 15 years old.
Yeah, that's right.
Right, and what's the name? And Hinton Battle was a trained ballet dancer that I found on the street at 85th Street. And
Hidden Battle was the scarecrow.
yeah, he was a scarecrow.
Just passed away recently.
Really?
He just died.
Wow.
Not two
weeks ago.
like a couple weeks after Cheetah. Cheetah died too. All of that went on. So Jeffrey wasn't going to be the director, and Gilbert Moses, who did Ain't Supposed to Die a Natural, Death,
Yeah.
who, and worked for NEC, Negro Ensemble Company, was going to be the director. Jeffrey walked out. I'll see you in Baltimore. And he came with the costumes. And
So with all the hoopla over the Wiz, and of course, I mean the Wiz was the Wiz's run in 1975 to 77.
no, we were there longer than that.
Well, no. Well, I know, but I'm just saying, like, the first 2 year period. I mean, to me, maybe for this generation, if you had an opportunity to see Beyonce's Homecoming in the flesh, that's what it was like to see the Wiz back in the mid 70s.
I hear
Like
you.
when it, I barely remember it. I was like 5 or 6, but I still just remember everyone's reaction to it, and it was nothing like I ever seen before. If you will, how did it feel for that, and all the subsequent the Tonys and all the accolades?
It was really unbelievable to have, you know, that happen, to experience all that. But also, it's a personal journey too, because we all land. And I remember a stage manager saying, you know, to me when all of this turmoil was going on, just do your job, just do your piece, and that's what I did. And did it the best that I could. I know some people didn't like it because I changed it, and you had to change the arrangement too. And the copyists were sitting in a hotel room copying it.
That's why I was asking the question about music and choreography. Like, if you have to change something.
Right, but we were making this up.
Okay.
This, you know, and then you tell Harold Wheeler that, okay, it's so many bars, say 64 bars or 32, or in those increments so that we could keep track of technique. It's all down to that, not what you hear and what you feel. You know, all of that, you make all of that.
So this obviously leads to you getting a lot more work with the professional world of musicians. So who was your first client in terms of like, hey, can you stage our show
Ashford
like that?
Simpson.
Okay. They
Did
were
you do the
first.
video too?
All of them.
Like solid?
No, this is like
Before solid? Way before solid.
Everything, yeah.
Ashford Simpson
said
was
solid, too.
in this.
Everything.
Okay.
For 30 years, I keep telling Val, you should
We
give me
need
a
vows.
royalty.
We need
gotta
vows.
get
Oh, so when they're like looking at each
Yes,
other
not-
and
not
singing,
I'm right.
and then they
And
walk
that's a-
away from each
and
other.
right, and y'all would applaud, and I
Yeah.
told them how to do that.
When they would go
Word for
down.
word.
That's
And
you.
up.
And that's me. Right. And this, you know that groaning one where they are like,
It seems to hang on.
yes.
Loose me.
Loose me. Yes.
Yeah.
That's a
Right. Right. Turning and moving. And I told them to walk over here and do this, and the audience is going to applaud. They didn't believe me.
Oh, dog.
And the audience went crazy. And I said, no. And then you go over here, and that built there.
I always wondered. See, I didn't think like that took. I just thought that was just their natural chemistry as husband and
But
wife.
that's how it was supposed to
look.
be.
Yeah.
And that's how it was supposed to look with Earth, Wind, and Fire. You don't change, you use what the person had.
So when do you enter the Earth, Wind, and Fire sphere? What year?
70, 76, 77.
Oh, God. So you're here for All in All?
Yeah.
I saw the Philadelphia show in which
Yeah, the tubes came
the
down.
tubes,
Came down.
one of them couldn't get out of the tube in Philadelphia.
But then all of them, that's the challenge. Then all 10 of them on the front line we had one trick where they all came out in suits, suits, and they all wanted them to rip off and disappear, and there they were. Oh no, we had that trick.
So how did you work?
It's like, but if you got dates and things to make, and if it doesn't work, we got them there.
Yeah.
But and then here all 9 of them want to go up in the pyramid. In the pyramid, then the pyramid takes off, and then it explodes, and they're not there.
Yeah,
All
so
of it. Yes, right.
you're working.
And then Verdine.
I'm about to say, yeah.
Once
Please,
11
give us
Right,
some Verdine stories. Yes.
But no, Verdine is right, really enthusiastic, and it's
Yes, he is.
He has a spirit.
Are you working with Doug Henning or Copperfield
and
at this
Copperfield.
point?
That's
Who was
how
first, Doug Henning or
Doug
Copperfield?
Henning.
Okay,
And then
so Copperfield was his apprentice.
No, just separate.
Okay, so Henning was first.
Because they were different tricks.
Yeah, but this is like unheard of.
Are you talking about
And-
magic for real?
Well, yeah, David
Like
Copperfield,
David
and
Copperfield?
Doug Henning first got their
with
start.
The magicians.
Oh my, okay.
Yeah, like Maurice White.
Maurice was not playing.
Yeah, like
He-
David
he
Copperfield.
Maurice White
And then
wanted
he
to,
would leave them with me.
so basically, Maurice wanted to figure out how to really introduce metaphysics to the black audience, make them believe in magic. So,
Yeah, all
but
of
literally,
that.
that's how the Jacksons they would be in the audience, like taking notes. Oh, we want to levitate. And it started with
Are you
Verdine was
kidding?
floating first.
Are you kidding? I didn't realize all that.
Yes, well, you were there. You helped facilitate it.
I know, but you're giving me information that I didn't have. I didn't know they were
Welcome to
there.
Questlove Supreme.
Jacksons, yeah.
That's why black people are magic.
Right. I mean, he wanted Maurice's whole plan was through the music and through the presentation to introduce metaphysics, and he figured magic tricks are a surefire way, like watch the birdie, like that sort of thing, and it worked.
He sounded like a puppet man.
First, Verdine started levitating in the air and all that
Right.
stuff, and then
That
it
was
went
one.
further.
Then I saw them after. I didn't work on that show.
Okay.
Because it was sparse, but I worked on all of the subsequent.
Well, you worked on the first show that they stepped their game up and
Right.
did this presentation. And how long did you stay with them?
Weeks. Yeah.
But I mean, like project to project.
Oh,
I mean,
then I went on tour. We went
Okay.
to Egypt. We went to Paris.
Wow.
We played with Nascimento in Brazil.
Oh, Milton
and all-
Nascimento, yeah.
Right, all of that.
really?
Oh, Brazil.
About dancing, what are some of your favorite dances, like or styles of dance, like tango or
All of
salsa
them,
or
actually.
whatever? Yeah.
I did the Josephine Baker story with it, but it takes a little bit of time. You got to have all the time to learn them. for real. You know, like
But what's your most fun? Like, did you had a good time doing?
Like if you go out to a club and your song come on,
no.
what are you doing?
Oh no, what am I doing? I'm doing what the people are doing. Oh no, I can clear the floor. I
Okay.
could.
Oh, still?
Oh no, still.
Okay,
Not-
all right.
No, when I went to Brazil, you know, you go to the club. I work with Fanny Mickey down there in Brazil. Yeah, Colombia. She had the International Theater down there, and I did a stint with them. But then they would go out to the clubs at night, and people were just dancing. And then they and some of the people that play in salsa clubs up here and stuff like that. And I just jumped in there with them, and then the crowd happens.
Yeah.
You know, when you're doing it, when we are doing it, we're not showing off. When we are doing it, and you love it. And you're in it, and you can feel it. Ain't nothing like it.
You ever been to the Latin Quarter?
Yes, you have, right?
Right? No. You know,
The original Latin Quarter. He went to
The
back
original.
Not when the rappers
Yes.
was there.
Not the rappers.
Not when the rappers was there.
No.
Yeah, no, ain't about that life.
No.
What was your feeling towards that whole like early '80s rush for? Now everybody wants choreography in their videos and all.
Well,
this.
if you remember, Michael Jackson was the first one to have that. So that left Stevie, Maurice, and all of them feeling left out. See, MTV was not created for you.
Yeah.
Facts.
Okay, you got to remember that. Michael Jackson broke that color line. Okay, so, you know, that's how we were. So you got to, you know, embrace all of that. So, yes, and that sparked a whole lot of, it stepped everybody's game up, you know, to want to, you know, do that. Or to be recognized that MTV was all over, that was around the world, all over the world.
But for you, finally, the world's opening up.
Oh, no,
and-
no. I was different. I did something else. I worked with the artists.
Right.
It's what they do. It's what you do. Marie, no, we'd still be, you know, working on a combination that I could give Maurice. No, they had their own sexiness. They had their own moves. You just work on that. So their own grooves. You work on that person, and yeah, why fight that? And then you could use his sexiness, you know, serpentine fire and all of that. Hey, and then the
He was always
music.
like that. He was always
Then the
that was his move.
music.
Yeah, that was his move. He
Oh,
was
come
always-
on.
Yeah.
The Phoenix horn. I mean, I have never in my life heard anything as great as them, and the rhythms that they were, you know, playing. It was magic. It was just like, you know, Aretha Franklin, hearing her sing, or all of that. If you took them separate and apart, Phil Collins tried to take them up, take
I know.
them on.
We know.
I know. So, you know, that was all of that. And then he was already a fantastic drummer.
Right.
You know, from Ramsey Lewis
Maurice
and so forth.
White.
But you know, I think that the great thing was that I had Miles Davis. See, I started with Miles when one of my first
How do you chorus? Yeah, how do you do Miles?
the fusion when he with Joe Zawinul
Oh,
and
Joe
all of
Zawinul,
that
yeah.
when they were breaking into the
Bitches
fusion.
brewing on the
Oh,
corner.
it's technique.
Yeah, no, I'm
Right,
listening.
you gotta listen.
I'm listening.
You know, like you gotta find your way in there. You know, Miles and you know, I did a piece, not with Miles on stage, but I did a piece that I used his music,
Oh,
which
okay.
Okay.
I see.
Okay.
in which I did poppy, you know, the drug, you know, heroin.
Oh, okay, yeah,
And
yeah.
and that was the
Opium.
street, and so I became the character.
Oh, you personified.
I personified it with his music. Now I'd like to really do it, and then get one of these hip hop freaks to really.
Yes,
to really
don't call him
no,
that.
but
Not in
find
their
him
face.
on-
Don't call him that.
find
in
him
their
on
face.
TikTok.
but I'm saying, you need to get all of that.
Yeah.
All of that, because they're thinking that, they're feeling that, but they don't have a narrative.
So before we wrap, could you tell me what it was like to choreographed the inauguration of '91 of the Clinton White House.
I'm a director and a choreographer.
Okay.
That was all history. And what I had to do was bring all that together, bring a through line. So there was either a Dorothy Height that went through all of them. I'm talking about from the women not being able to speak in 1963 all the way to, they're still struggling. You know, when you look at it now, you know, that story and that all of that takes over even now. So whatever struggle they had, it was integration, it was so forth. And then the men fighting, you know, Wilkins fighting Stokely Carmichael over what they were going to do. All of that is part of that. You know, so all I have to do is just follow that trail. And then, you know, we used to substitute, you know, whenever you did a white person, you had a white mask or something like that. No. Take off the mask, everybody's going to do their part.
This is inauguration too?
No, yeah. We had songs about protests, and then we don't want them in here. We had the flag, when the flag, you know, I had 3 big Confederate flags, and they sang that song in front of them. You know how you know how y'all reacted, and that's what I wanted.
That's what you wanted, yeah.
And then
You're a provocateur. I get it.
right, and then there had to be the sheriff that sang the song. So, you know, you got what it was, the struggle, the confrontation, all of that. And then we could have those moments, we shall overcome, and all of those other things. But why were we singing all of that?
Yeah,
Why were we doing that? There was a purpose. And there was a purpose for that show. You know, so what are we doing? You know, like, I think that we'll find ourselves, you know, where we should be if we stop denying the truth, you know, and sharing the truth. Okay, all of these are periods that we are going through. And, you know, and what we're going through right now, the reintroduction, what is this? This is a retelling of something that we had overcome, that we had been past. We still have to come together. We still have to share all of these wonderful things that we have. You know what I mean? The technology and so forth. Our kids are sitting over there with computers that can't work, but there's so much that's beyond that, you know, other people can teach you. We are there. You know, and I have a piece that I'm doing with AI, and I have Gandhi telling his story, but I have Kata and all of the techniques, you know, the dance techniques, opposing it. The British are tap dancing, and the other people are doing Kata and stuff like that. I want to go there. That's where we are, you know, and we're vamping right now. Why are we going back to the Wiz? Especially if
memories.
We are celebrating.
No, you're not gonna have a memory over there.
We're
I don't know what kind of
celebrating.
memory you're gonna be.
See, how did we was so in a positive
Well,
space.
I mean, part of the human experience is looking ahead and occasionally looking in the rearview mirror.
Occasionally, this is 50 years ago. Just call that an antique. You
I
know?
would like a nice
Let
documentary.
me have some
at some
memories.
point, though. I would like a nice documentary at some point, though, like between the original play and the movie. I think that would be dope if I haven't missed it already. That would
You haven't missed that. That's what you could do.
That's what
We
you'll
could
go
do
to.
that.
Another thing on the back of
I'm
Questlove.
done.
You're not done.
I'm so
You're not
done.
done. I was there with the first movie in that crowd.
Yeah, they used to
In the
dance on that
park.
stage, right? You used to dance on
You
that
were
stage.
you were in Harlem.
Yes,
Cross-
yeah.
Really?
That was how you act.
Yeah.
That's when they were doing it. Equal opportunity. Section 8 came into, you know, all of that.
Wait, you were in the park as a spectator,
And
or
as a spectator.
because there were dance troops there
Right.
But you
that we
never
had to
just
drop
said
out,
something.
cut out the film. But I thought you were about to tell me that you were one of the dancers. I was like, oh god.
on the stage in Mount Morris.
You are a burst of energy and education and history, and I thank you for doing our podcast with us.
Somebody do this
And-
documentary.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
I didn't know we
Flowers,
were going to
man.
do all this.
Flowers.
Right.
on behalf of Unpaid Bill and Sugar Steve and Fontegalo and Laia,
Yeah,
we
man.
finally did this after
Yes, thank you.
decades, or not decades. These years feel like
Right,
decades.
Yeah.
done a couple
It was a
things.
half, a half a
But
decade.
thank you, Brother Faison, for doing this for us, and we appreciate you and your art.
Nah, seriously.
And this is Questlove Supreme. We'll see you next week. Yes.
Yes.
Hey, word up.
Great.
Well done.